Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at JavaScript objects and some of the ways we can work with them to access their keys, values, and also see how we can iterate through them. Let's get started with some basic object creation. First, we're creating a simple JavaScript object. We'll declare it as a const to prevent accidental reassignment. Let's name it Object. We're adding a name property with the string value test name. This is a basic key value pair in our object. Now let's add a second property, data, and give it a numeric value, 1, 2, 3. So far, pretty standard JavaScript object. Okay, so let's see how we can create an array from an object. We'll use JavaScript Object Methods for this. Let's create a new array from the entries of the object. We call it array entries, and we use Object.entries method. It returns an array of key value pairs, making it easy to iterate over an object's properties. One drawback of this method is that it has slightly more overhead than Object.keys or Object.values, since it returns an array of arrays, as we will see soon. Next, let's create array keys using the Object.keys method, which creates a new array with the keys inside our object. It returns an array of keys, property names, from an object, and useful when you only need to work with the keys rather than values. It can be used when you need to check if a property exists in an object. Similarly, we can create an array with the values of our object. We can call this array values, and we use Object.values method. It returns an array of values without property names. It can be used when you only need to work with the values, such as summing up numbers in an object, useful for displaying object values without needing property names. But it can't be used alone if you need both keys and values together. Now that we've created the arrays, let's print them to the console. I'm using console.log to display them in the browser's developer tools. Let's log in array entries, array keys, and array values so we can see what they look like in the console output. Okay, as we can see in the console, array entries is an array of arrays with 2 entries each, the key and the value. Since there were 2 property names in the object, it has 2 arrays. This method has a time complexity of O(n). More on this concept in a future video. Array keys is an array with the key property names as elements. Since there were 2 property names in the object, the array has 2 elements. Array values is an array with the values as elements. Since there were 2 property names in the object, the array has 2 elements. Now for the last piece, let's see how we can loop through our object using for/in loop. For/in is designed for iterating over the properties of an object. It iterates over all enumerable properties of an object, including properties from the prototype chain. Can be useful, but also risky if you're not careful. If an object has properties from a prototype, for/in will include inherited properties, which might be unexpected and lead to errors. You should always check if the property belongs to the object itself using has_own_property. It can be used when working with dynamic objects where the properties are unknown in advance. When iterating over properties while also checking their existence in the object, its performance can be slower than Object.keys or Object.entries. Inside the loop, I'm using console.log to print each key and its corresponding value from the object in the console. Let's see the console now. You can see test name 1 to 3. Those are the key and data. And that's it. We've seen how to create a basic JavaScript object, how to extract arrays of keys and values, and how to iterate through the object's properties. If you're writing modern JavaScript, prefer Object.keys, Object.values, and Object.entries over for/in loop, unless there's a specific reason to use it. Which method do you use the most? Drop a comment below and let me know. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more JavaScript tutorials. Thanks for watching.